this girl aboarded a private bus which already had 6 people on it. She was raped by these 6 people, and the rape was extremely brutal. Her intestines were pulled out and she was horribly injured. She was admitted in the hospital immediately after and fought for her life for days, but she couldn't survive. But her rape instigated a mass protest in Delhi and united the entire nation.
Not only was the nation shook, this incident, it shook the entire world. So this year, on the event of International Women's Day, Leslie Udvik, she decided to direct a film called India's Daughter to show the happenings of this rape. So it was supposed to be aired on BBC on 8th March, which is International Women's Day, but instead it was launched on YouTube on 5th March. And this video, it led to several debates, several controversies, and it finally got banned by the Indian government. The Indian government banned it on the basis of Section 505, Section 504, Section 509, Section 504(1)(b and of the Indian Penal Code, and Section 66A of the Information Technology Act 2000. The Section 66A of the ITA 2000 was further removed by the Supreme Court. It was a landmark judgment. This section said that it condemned any kind of offensive message sent through communicative media. So this, more than the video, the ban created several controversies and debates, and we have several opinions on whether there should have been a ban or not. Freedom of speech, or modesty of women. So let's just see what what our fellow students have to say about this.
When I first watched it, I felt angry, right? I just felt like, everything that exists with respect to rape in India right now is that India is such an unsafe country for women, obviously.
Personally, it really shook me when you have a rapist sitting there and saying that, oh well, you know what, give us the death penalty, we'll murder our victims. First, after it really throws you like, what the are you talking about? It's actually pretty logical, okay? This is an entire theory of economics and law. You increase the burden or you increase the punishment, the guy will cover up his crime more. So when you give them the death penalty, he makes sense. He'll kill the victim because he doesn't want any trace, because essentially for murder you'll still have life imprisonment, whereas for rape now you're going to have death. So that doesn't really make sense.
The whole idea of portraying India as the rape capital of the world is something that I didn't quite agree with.
Watching the documentary made me feel really ashamed and disheartened about how the women of this country are being portrayed and how they have been thought of since the beginning of time.
So I think this is another way of going forward with their neoliberal agenda and trying to shun. So what this government is probably most worried about is their international, how internationally they are perceived.
The problem is you only look at this in a negative manner, that well, India sucks because rape happens, therefore we should ban all traces of rape happening, so that when anyone looks at us from the outside that, oh, India is so wonderful and so good. That's bullshit, dude. I mean, come on. If you're representing a worldview that there's something wrong with India and India actually works to change it, that will give a much better international image, na? Instead of saying that, oh well, we don't believe this problem exists because we can't see it.
So the whole idea essentially becomes that by putting a ban on this, you're saying that rape is wrong and it's a taboo and it's something we shouldn't even talk about. You're ignoring the problem, and when you ignore problems, it becomes harder to dole out justice.
Like I said, the ban was completely absurd, and I think the government should function in a more appropriate and a sensible manner where they give reasonable justifications, because I think if someone's making a video, it's for a reason, it's for a cause.
In our culture, I think that you can't really define the role of an Indian woman, because then you're saying that the role of an Indian woman and the role of an Indian man are sort of different. And the whole idea with Indian feminism today is that you create this binary between men and women. You make feminism wrongly a problem of men versus women, when it should honestly be, and this is my whole problem with the video, is that it creates this binary and it creates this whole culture of like the fact that feminism should be all of women against men, and that men are the problem, because men are essentially demonized in a video like this. They're made to be the enemy in this video, right? I feel like the role of the Indian woman today is that she should be able to do what she wants, right? Which is the same as any human being. Everyone has human rights, everyone has dignity, and the role of any human being is to self-actualize, and any way in which you want to do that, you should be able to.
So let's take for example the adultery laws in India, which say that if I, as a married man, go and sleep with another woman who is also married, the only hurt victim is the other woman's husband, not my wife, not the woman I slept with, only the other guy, and that's it. Okay, so we have this very sexist view against women in general throughout our entire country, which I believe is the problem with like Indian society per se. Saying that if we present to the world that yes, we have flaws, yes, we have problems, but we want to work and we want to resolve them, versus us just refusing to believe it, because let's be honest, in today's information technology fueled age, it gets out. Okay, so if some woman in some village gets raped, people get to know about it. Okay, certain people get to know about it, and a certain kind of international image remains. The response of the Indian government to this, in one situation being, well, we can't see it, so it doesn't exist, versus one where they acknowledge it and say that yes, it's a problem, let's face it head on. Facing it head on gives a better international image, and people will actually want to associate with us, instead of German embassy telling a kid, well, we're not going to give you an internship because you come from a country of rapists.
The very term India's daughter, right, it excludes so much. It basically means that that Nirbhaya was India's daughter. She was a good girl, and she listened to her parents. She just went out, she was a medical student. She didn't deserve to be raped. And when you do that, you essentially exclude a lot of women from this category, because you're saying India's daughter doesn't deserve to be raped. But what about everyone else? Why does a good girl deserve to be raped? You're putting out the wrong message in this kind of situation, right? The idea behind feminism and behind what anyone should honestly be thinking is that rape is wrong, period. It doesn't matter if you're India's daughter or the quintessential good girl. Rape, period, is wrong.